Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning. The sun is up, it's getting crisp, and I'm here, you're here. Big, exciting news as you start your Saturday morning as the final push for the presidential elections is underway. I'll have the campaign stops for you, I'll have the COVID 19 number of cases overnight, and I'll have the renewed focus on your second stimulus check, second stimulus package, and third stimulus check and third stimulus package, which are dramatically needed as number of cases increase overnight to record numbers. Meantime, I'll have details about the Senate, those big races that could determine your stimulus, and more and exciting news on top of that. Oh, and then there's the super moon. Brings out all the people from inside the Temple of Doom. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's mornings LALATE here at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast. Hope you are great and safe. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here. The coffee's brewing, and I hope you saved me some extra bacon. Thank you for tuning in to Early Mornings LALATE, which started at 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time earlier today, and we're keeping it going with 28 at 12 noon today. Stay tuned for that. Plus, we'll have some extended extra bonus videos today, perhaps about the supermoon. Oh boy. That's referring to the thing in the sky, not the thing in. Okay, let's keep it G-rated. All right, let's get to it. If you've not subscribed, go to the Funnest channel and subscribe because we are going to kick this out of the ballpark. And we're going to get jazzy, sort of like the Utah Jazz, which sold overnight for a record sum of money. Also, like this video because it's really helping the rankings. We're going higher than all that really bad stuff that doesn't have corn. It doesn't have Temple of Doom in it, and doesn't have, sirloin. Sirloin would be really pissed if you were watching someone else. All right. In this video, I'll be going over where the stops are today for the president and the VP. Joe Biden and President Donald Trump have a full schedule of stops today, and they could be talking about your stimulus. Moreover, you know what Saturday is. Oh, yeah. That's that day that the president does executive orders. Will today be the magic day? Purple power, do your thing. Next, the president is focusing on getting the vote out on election night. I'll be going over why election night voting is different than mail-in voting and why new polls suggest one or the other and how that could impact your second stimulus check. Finally, Friday numbers are in for number of COVID-19 cases. They're exactly what I predicted, and where are we going next week? More about that as well. And finally, how about lockdowns? You're going to hear more about that on this channel as concerns about lockdowns grow, and hence the focus on your stimulus. Finally, there's that big moon in the sky tonight, so, we're all going to be growling at something. Maybe it's someone for our $12 ice cream. Oh, maybe not. All right, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news today is that the focus on your second stimulus check, second stimulus package, third stimulus check, third stimulus package, and COVID-19 relief remains on focus as the president and the VP both have big campaign stops across the board today. Millions of Americans are waiting for that second stimulus check, which they have not received. It could be anywhere from $500 to $4,000 to even more money. That $10,000 for hazard pay they're waiting for. There's $600 a week or $400 a week for FPUC they're waiting for. A lot of money, and now they're deeply concerned, as you and I are, about potential new lockdowns and the inability of Congress to even write a bill that provides you stimulus relief if there's a lockdown. Well, let's get to the details. The details, before I get to the presidential stops, are what happened last night, Friday night. I had been reporting to you that Scott Gottlieb, who is the former FDA head under President Trump and is now a CNBC contributor, had predicting that Friday and today's number of COVID-19 cases could reach 100,000 new cases. This is after last Friday, not yesterday, but a week before, I reported you at first the breaking news of 80,000 new COVID-19 cases, breaking the July number that absolutely put Wall Street in a turmoil and caused them to talk about your stimulus all last week. Well, then came this Thursday. This Thursday, the number shot to 80 to 90,000. And when it shot to 90,000, Wall Street shouted loud and clear, give us stimulus, give us second stimulus. Where's the third stimulus? Let's get this rolling. Well, the interesting news as you start a Saturday morning is that, yeah, I'm here, you're here. I'm reporting to you 5 hours a day. But for broadcast news, they always pull back the amount of coverage for news that they do on the weekend sometimes. And ironically, despite that pullback, there's not so much discussion about stimulus this weekend. There was every single day, every single hour, all this last week. But this weekend, if you look for a stimulus story on the leading financial news sites, you would not see a new one yet this weekend. But you'd see Supermoon, which is just okay, and McRib. So my concern is suddenly stimulus may be coming off front page, but here's my thoughts of the matter, because you always ask my opinion. My thoughts of the matter is you're going to hear stimulus come Sunday evening as Wall Street prepares for Monday morning, because Wall Street is jittery. Wall Street and the Fed are now the single biggest voices to get you stimulus after the viewers of this channel, Purple Power. They are shouting loud and clear. 1, we need stimulus relief. 2, we need stimulus in the hands of the American people. 3, we need enhanced unemployment benefits. 4, we need hazard pay. And then 5th, we need stimulus for the new lockdowns coming. That's a next stimulus package, which I call the third stimulus package, or the lockdown stimulus package. Then the Federal Reserve is under fire since Friday evening for not doing anything for your stimulus, even though they have money for it. And now there's a big push, not just from Purple Power, but also Wall Street saying, hey, Fed, you got to start sending out stimulus relief as well. And this is amid concerns about the obvious. Milk and egg prices at the supermarket, groceries going through the roof, grocery prices getting very high suddenly overnight. It's called inflation. And Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, said, that's fine. We have stimulus. We're going to get the stimulus done. Well, now we don't have stimulus. Grocery prices are going through the roof. It's called inflation. And the Federal Reserve was embracing inflation just about 2 months ago. But now, as COVID-19 cases are going through the roof, 2, there's no second stimulus package yet approved. And 3rd, there's a concern that we need the third stimulus package getting ready because of lockdowns. There's a call for emergency hearing for the Federal Reserve to do something for the monetary policy of this country so that you would get stimulus relief. So that is incredible, great news as we start the new morning. Calls to get stimulus checks out, FPUC out, enhanced hazard pay out, rent, mortgage forbearance, student loan debt, and stimulus for the next lockdown. So let's look at what happened since last night. 31 states now have had at least one record high of new COVID cases since October, Johns Hopkins reports today via CNN. 14 states and 1 U.S. territory are now at record high hospitalizations as of last night. That's 14 states and 1 U.S. territory that are at record hospitalizations, which is where the concern starts to stem. When you're looking at hospitalizations, that's usually where the push to ramp up all things of discussions kick in, including stimulus relief. Those states and territories which are now at high alert as are Alaska, Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Missouri, Nebraska, New Mexico, North Dakota, Iowa, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming, and Guam. So what could happen today for stimulus and COVID cases? Well, Dr. Jonathan Reinhardt, who's a professor at George Washington University in Washington, D.C., said overnight you could see over 100,000 cases per day this weekend. And now you could possibly see upwards of thousands of people dying per day. This is why the push to get stimulus is louder than ever. When you talk about stimulus, you talk about things like hospitalization. And what's important to understand is that the stimulus relief that you're owed, whether it's a $1,200 check or a $4,000 check or a $6,000 stimulus check, the hazard pay that you owe, $10,000, the FPUC that you're owed, $600 a week or $400 a week, all this money you're owed is from March to now. That's to get you up to date on your rent, your utilities, your bills right now. If you got that right now, where would you be right now? Think in your mind, okay, if I got the second stimulus and I got the full amount that I'm really just owed, that, the Purple Power and I have been pushing, hashtag MSC, multiple stimulus checks, hashtag seats for stimulus, hashtag, I've been doing all the Purple Power caucuses. I've been online. I've been pushing hashtag Purple Power FPUC, Purple Power hashtag check, hashtag Purple Power. I've been doing all that. If I got all the money that I'm really owed up to this point, then what would I be like if I was put onto lockdown next month? I don't know your particular personal financial answer, and here to give you the help across the board. But my prediction, generally knowing my viewers, is that even if you were up to date on all your stimulus relief up to this point from members of Congress, you would still need stimulus relief to go on to a lockdown. You could not go on to a lockdown in November, December, January, February, March, 2, 3, 4 months of a lockdown with no stimulus relief, no place of employment, no ability to make rent, no savings that will cover you for 4 months. You would need lockdown stimulus, aka third stimulus. And that's why the Purple Power's messaging is so loud. One, you need to get Congress to get up to date on your second stimulus. You need to pay up for all these months that are back due. Second, you need them to get up to date on writing a third stimulus package. No one has written a third stimulus package. No one is even focusing on the events of December forward. They're like, you know what? We'll get to December when we're in June of next year. All of their second stimulus packages expire in December. So what happens January 1st? Well, they're on vacation. Yeah, they're on vacation. Then they come back. Well, we'll start writing it. Okay, how long does it take you to write? A couple weeks. Okay. How long does it take to agree upon something? A couple weeks. Okay. And then what happens? We go on vacation again. Oh, okay. So then when do you vote on it? Maybe, July next year. Yeah, so you see, they need to be doing next year now because it takes a while. How about the campaign stops? Where are the president and the VP going to be today? And could they be talking about stimulus? Okay, let me give you the details. President Donald Trump will be in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, noon East. These are all Eastern Standard Time. Noon today. Reading, Pennsylvania, 2:30. Butler, 5:30. Montoursville, if I'm mispronouncing, I'm sorry, at 8 p.m. Joe Biden and Barack Obama together will be doing Michigan today. Flint, 1:45. Detroit, 5:30. These are both what you call drive-in events. They're not actual rallies. The president's, the Republican stops are rallies. The Democrat stops are drive-in. Mike Pence, he's doing North Carolina. He's going to Elm City at 11:30. And pretty early, Mike. Okay, he's an early riser. There we go. And Elizabeth City at 1:30. I guess he's calling it a day at 11 o'clock. Okay, guard time. So he's ending it early. Senator Harris, she's doing Florida. She's doing Miami Drive-In at 11:45. Fort Lauderdale is an actual event, 2:25, and Lake Worth at 4:50. The Florida vote, as you saw in LALATE yesterday, is critical. The path to getting anyone elected in the presidency and potentially in the Senate requires a win of Florida. The path to 270 for the president is Florida. The path to 270 for Joe Biden is potentially including Florida. He potentially could win without Florida, but he would really have a sure win with Florida as a win. Then for the Senate races, and the House races. You saw me talk about that one House member who's a 1 or 2 term Democrat in the Temple of Doom's House. She's facing a big battle from the former mayor of Miami-Dade, who's a Cuban, and he's a Republican and a Trump supporter. He's giving her a run for her life. Who will win that race? That will be interesting. And then finally, mail-in ballots. Well, currently 66% of all, excuse me, let me say it this way. The number of people who voted in the last election cycle for president, of that, 66% of the U.S. population has already voted. 66% has already voted by mail-in ballots. And the new numbers suggest that mail-in ballots are dominated by Democrats, but Republicans are dominated by voting election day in the polling precinct in person. So the question is whether the Republicans will pick up the speed in those final days. And this is why executive orders are so important. Uh, Democrats represent 46% of early turnouts, while Republicans are 30% of early turnouts. But then it gets flipped on election night, where more people who are Republican wait to vote on election day versus Democrats who vote early. Again, the current early cycle vote count represents 63% of the entire voter turnout of the 2016 election. There's a problem with that number, I see, though. I mean, that's presuming that 2020 will have the same number of voters as 2016. Well, there could be a lot more. Finally, a little fun news. We all need some fun news to start the new day. The Utah Jazz sold overnight to a tech billionaire, Ryan Smith, who's 42 years old and owns Qualtrics. In a funny moment that you sort of want to pull out your Larry Kudlow calculator for this one, Mr. Smith has done very well for himself, but the numbers of this transaction are very interesting. He has a net worth of 1.33 billion, but he bought the team for 1.66 billion. Okay, so he doesn't have 1.666 billion. So he bought it on debt. Well, there's a problem. The NBA only allows you to use $325 million worth of debt. Oh, okay. So does that make it enough? 323. Let's see if Larry Kudlow could do the math for us and figure it out. I think Larry Kudlow will say the answer is 2. Coming up next is 28 at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. And we'll have some fun, unusual programming perhaps throughout today. Because today is Halloween, you may see some surprises in the reporting and the schedule of programming today. So stay with me. And on a personal note, as we approach the days after Election Day, you could see some changes in the programming schedule because it's not 28 days before the election. So get ready for some changes. You love change. I do too. And it's all going to be fun, good, and exciting. If you've not gone for this channel, subscribe because I'm so happy you're here for me and joining me today. We're going to have a great day. I love the comments. You've been so kind, and the motion and the sentiment and the positivity and the push is absolutely incredible. See you on social media, and please hit it hard. We got a couple days, and hit social media hard, Purple Power. Also, like this video. Coming up at 12 noon. 28. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay FLA for more.